Hi, everyone. Today I'm here with co-author Melisa Keenan, and we're going to be talking about hers and her husband's chapter in the book Uncensored, Untamed, and Unleashed. It just came so perfectly today. So welcome, Melisa. So happy that you're here.
Yay, thank you for having me.
Yay. So Melisa is the CEO of an international intimacy company, a keynote speaker, and international and USA Today bestselling author. Melisa helps powerful CEO women use their feminine strategy as a 10x growth strategy as the go-to intuitive relationship mentor for the top 1%. I love it. I love it. How did you get into this work?
Oh, I love that question. Honestly, because throughout my life, as I've strived to go for success, whatever we define as success, right? I would try to go after financial success and get thwarted until I healed my personal relationships, and then doors would open. And so over and over in my life, and then in our marriage, that has been the pattern. And so yeah, lots of hardship and difficulty in personal relationships until finally really pursuing that and embracing that and saying, no matter what financial success we make or don't make, I want this to really be a strong foundation. And then all these opportunities open for us to share and turn it into something that we could have financial success as well.
Yeah. And this is something that both you and your husband talked about in the chapter, the shifting of priorities of what is actually important to us. And it sounds like for you, relationships are at the core of everything that you do. And then everything else kind of comes and follows it.
Yep, exactly. And particularly my marriage. I think that and I see this in my clients too. So I'm going to say we as women, when we don't really let our hearts be fully open and allow our partner fully in, we're also doing that in other areas of our lives. What we do anywhere is what we do everywhere, right? But I use that as a gauge of like, how am I really showing up in alignment and in integrity? It's a matter of like, okay, well, do I want to connect with my partner?
Mm. Again, it's like so simple yet sophisticated because are we really taught these things? And I love your perspective of where marriage plays a role in leadership going forward. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that and your perspective around that.
Yeah, I think that we all are very aware that the current like structures and institutions that be are not serving, and everybody's complained about it for years and years. But I think now we're so globally connected, those structures are not going to stand the way that they have, and so and that's terrifying. I mean, really, if you really think about what that means, that's like there's going to be a lot of destruction before there's a whole lot of like amazing, abundant peace, like globally. And so when I think about that, I'm like, okay, then like, where am I putting all my eggs? What baskets am I putting? Where am I investing myself? Is it into the banking structures? Am I, is it into education? Is it in, or because really, when all those things kind of shake out, what's left are families, strong marriages and families, and having that as the single most important unit of society, which we have totally taken that away as such an important unit. But it's everything. Even if you don't have children, right? It's like two people together are so much more powerful than one person standing alone.
I totally agree. For people who aren't in a marriage, but maybe they're in a committed relationship, what can this also look like for them going forward? Does it have to be marriage? Is it a relationship? What does it look like for you?
I think that the most important thing is the commitment piece. So as I go out in the world, and I've talked now to thousands of people, I think that monogamy is huge. Like not having that is extremely complicated. I also think that the commitment piece, some people feel like the actual institution of marriage is too driven by the government and some of these different things. That's fine. But it's about really being committed. I love the container of marriage because it provides some structure for me in that commitment. And so, if you're watching this, right, and you're single and you're like, why are we talking about marriage? Or like, how does this apply to me? It's like, it's being open to wanting that. It's being open to saying, like, I believe that it's possible for a beautiful, fulfilling, healthy, trust-filled, committed relationship. And that work, like, so many of us have been hurt so much in our relationships. So doing that inner work to get your heart back to a place where it believes and it's open again. And that goes whether you're already in the marriage or not. That work is everything. And that's why I do what I do.
I thought it was really beautiful in your chapter that you and your husband were quite vulnerable about your experiences together, the challenges that you faced, being married at a quite young age, having children. What was it like for you to write this with him?
Honestly, we fought a lot. It's funny because we've shared our story quite a bit at this point. He and I were separated for 6 months at one point in 2013. And during that time, people would just kind of gravitate into our space that were either going through something similar or where maybe we were just one step ahead, and we would share with people like where we had gone and what we had been through and what it was like. And so we've been through a lot of those sticky points in terms of like what's okay to share and all of that stuff. It wasn't really that. It's more what this represents for us. I think there was something really sacred, and it makes me emotional about both of us standing up like publicly as leaders and saying like, this is who we are. And also we can help others be like this too, experience this too. And that felt really, really sacred. And I think that's why there was just a lot. It felt like so much pulling and tugging and even in my own heart. And then as we would communicate, so gosh, we were just high and low, like very high and very low.
I think I really just appreciated the transparency of it, because I think in today's day and age where there's so much information out there and it's so easy to even make things look perfect through social media. But I also believe that we have intuition and discernment that are saying like, I smell something fishy there. So your transparency is just so appreciated on all levels. And I can say that for me personally, and I'm sure anyone else who reads your chapter is going to be like, damn, like they work as relationship coaches and mentors, and they've also had challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think that, well, it's funny because I know some people who will say, why would I hire somebody who doesn't have it all figured out? Right. But I'm like, I'm more of the mindset of like, I want to know that you understand where I'm at so you can help me get out of it, and I think that like, there's a lot of misunderstandings about relationships out there right now. When I'm first starting to make a relationship with a potential client, for instance, and I'll say, well, how is your relationship? The most common thing I hear is, it's great. It's so good. It's totally great. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And literally whatever follows that, it just depends on her level of willingness to be vulnerable, because it could literally be, we're so great, except for that he just cheated on me. Or it could be like, it's so great, except for the fact that like, it's our second marriage and I really struggle trusting him or whatever. Like we all have this stuff, but we haven't felt like there's a permission to be seen in that. Or maybe at times we've even been vulnerable and it's been used against us. And so there's such a guardedness around that. And well, you know, I don't know, maybe one day this will bite us in the butt, but we're kind of the philosophy, well, if we don't hide anything, no one will have anything to use against us. But also in that's how we approach our relationship too. Like we just don't hide anything. So whatever surfaces, it creates deeper intimacy instead of creating wedges between us.
There's a saying in the age of Aquarius that there are no secrets. There are no secrets.
I love that. And I talked about that a little bit in the chapter about how there will come a time when like our insides will be our outsides. And I don't think we'll actually look any different. It's just that we'll all have our senses turned on fully. So we'll know if somebody's hiding stuff, and we're not going to revere the people who, just because they've created amazing external, tangible results, we're going to revere those who we align with on the inside, like what their values are, what they stand for, and the kind of person that they are. So exactly, like, transparency is so important. I love it.
It's so, so good. So tell us a little bit about who you work with and some things that you have coming up next for you and your business.
Yeah, so I work with high-level business women primarily. My husband and I also work with high-level couples. And this work is so important for her, right? Again, because if she wants to continue to be a strong, powerful leader, times are changing. And the old masculine structures of the past are, for one, not in alignment. She can feel it already. But for two, they're also, they're not going to work anymore. They're just not working anymore. So I love to work with high-level business women in their personal relationships. I love to help them reduce the burnout and overwhelm by helping them tap into their feminine energy. And the thing that, you know, they don't know and that they're afraid of is that it's going to slow down their business. So we do all of this without slowing down their momentum. It's like we have superpowers that we have left untapped, and we don't have to slow down anything in order to access those and change the way that we lead.
I love it. It's such important work. How can people connect with you, Melisa?
I have a free intimacy guide on my website that I would love to just share. I'll share a link in the comments on all these places that we're sharing this video. And also you can always just reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I have a free women's community as well for high-level business women to have a space to talk about both their heart and their business.
I love it. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing today. This is amazing.
Thank you, Bridget.
Talk to you later.